Well, friends, happy eve of Independence Day. Father Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life, speaking to you from our Florida headquarters. Thanks for spending some time with me, and thanks in advance for all your comments. Let me know where you're watching from and whether you have any questions or comments or amens or encouragement to give to the message that I am sharing. It is the day before Independence Day, and that will be reflected in our reflection for today from my book, Pro-Life Reflections for Every Day. And let's see what it says, drawing from Psalm 146. The Lord watches over the stranger and sustains the fatherless and the widow. Reflection. The Statue of Liberty is a strong symbol of the welcome our nation has given to people from around the world. On its base are the words of Emma Lazarus, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." This welcome can make no sense, however, if we are afraid to welcome the children in the womb. Let us pray. Lord, fill our hearts with a spirit of welcome for born and unborn alike. Amen. So you can get a copy of this book, which I'll be happy to sign and personalize to you if you go to prolifereflectionsforeveryday.com. And of course, the celebration of the 4th of July brings that theme of welcome to it. This is a nation founded on principles. That's why we should be proud to be Americans. Founded on principles, starting with the fact that God the Creator gives us our rights. That the first of those rights is life, and that governments exist to secure those rights. You'll recognize those words. They're from our Declaration of Independence. And it was on the 4th of July, 243 years ago, that the final version of those words was approved by the Continental Congress. And so we have the Declaration of Independence as a foundational document of our country, together with the Constitution, which of course was approved later than the Declaration. But the principles that it articulates are the principles that have drawn people from around the world. And we welcome people from around the world. And of course, today, the debate on immigration is very often all mixed up and confused. And let's put it this way, open borders is not a Catholic teaching. It's a Democrat Party teaching, but it's not a Catholic teaching. Welcoming the stranger, welcoming those in need and in search of a better life, does not equal open borders. You read the Catechism, the paragraph on immigration is very clear. It's not hard to understand. It articulates the principle that we are all brothers and sisters all around the world, that people do have a right to move in search of a better life. But it also articulates the principles that nations have an obligation to protect the people that are in the nation. Just like you have an obligation to protect your family and your property. I'd like to see how many of the people, whether religious leaders or political leaders, who advocate for open borders are tearing down the fences around their own property and unlocking the front door 24 hours a day. Do you let strangers just walk onto your property or walk into your house without some kind of vetting? No, you don't. And the reason that you don't is that you have a duty to protect your family. And you have a duty to protect your children. You have a duty to protect your property. Right? That doesn't mean that you're not a welcoming person. That doesn't mean you're failing in love and concern for those who need a better life. Well, think of it this way. There are a lot of people that don't have as good of a home as you do, not as nice of a house as you do. So what does that mean? Hey, folks, my front door is open. Walk in anytime you want. It's just not practical. And it's not safe. And nobody in their right mind does that when they have property and family to protect. So, if we can protect our own family and property within the boundaries of our own home, and if we can set boundaries and fences on our own property, Well, then why can't a nation do that for its own citizens? As a matter of fact, Catholic teaching is we have every right and duty to do that. Protect the people within our nation. And yes, welcome those who want to come. But the Catechism also says that those that want to come need to respect the laws of the place where they want to come. They need to respect and obey those laws. Patriotism, furthermore, is a virtue. Honor thy father and thy mother is the fourth commandment. But it doesn't just talk about parents. Family is the first unit of society. But that reverential attitude we have to those in authority then extends beyond the immediate family and into the public civil arena. We have due respect for lawfully constituted authority, the obligation to obey just laws, and that obligation extends to those who want to come into the country. If we who are citizens of the country have to obey the just laws of the country, then those who seek to become citizens need to be ready to obey the same laws as the rest of us do. Virtue and the virtue of patriotism includes fairness and common sense. And so many of those who pretend to be speaking for virtue and welcome and generosity and even Catholicism seem to have thrown common sense out the window. Well, I will not be any part of that, and I hope you won't either. Brothers and sisters, this is a great day, today and tomorrow as we celebrate Independence Day, to revive that spirit of nationalism. You know, some people, it's sort of looking at nationalism as a bad word. We do have a choice in this upcoming election as to whether we're going to be people who are proud to be Americans or whether we're going to take on this globalist mentality that, there's somehow something wrong with, preserving, protecting, defending, and being proud of your own nation. Let's be clear where we stand. We are proud to be Americans. We're going to continue to be proud to be Americans, and we're going to recognize that that is a path of virtue. The stronger our nation is, the better it is able to serve the rest of the world. And the more distinct our nation is, the more we understand that it is an exceptional nation, the more we understand clearly why it is so great and why it is founded on the principles on which it's founded, the better we will be able to serve the cause of those principles worldwide and down the corridors of history. The better we will be able to speak up and defend freedom, which is rooted in human dignity, which is at the core of the teaching of the Church. The better we will be able to defend the right to life, which is the source, foundation, and prerequisite for any other rights. The more we will be able to free people in other parts of the world from the kind of oppression that our founding fathers fought to escape and declared their independence, not just because of taxation without representation, but because of the suppression of human rights. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The right to religious freedom. This was on the minds of our founders as they broke with the king, as they committed high treason against the king. We're celebrating an act of treason here, because acts of treason at various times of history are absolutely necessary. Acts of treason at various times of history are the only way to preserve justice and human dignity when we are put in a position that forces us to do so. This is what our founders did. How easily we forget that. It's human dignity that comes first, brothers and sisters. Above all, it's human dignity and basic human rights that come first. And it's on that basis that I want to go into my second main point here today, which is a call to full-time involvement in the pro-life effort. And by the pro-life effort, I'm talking very specifically here about the effort to end abortion. The effort to restore protection to the children in the womb, the unborn, who are the only group of people who under the law are non-persons with no right to life itself, where the law tends to punish not those who destroy those lives, but those who seek to save them. That's the upside down topsy-turvy world that we are in right now, where you can get in more trouble with the law for defending these babies than for killing them. And brothers and sisters, if you defend the unborn, you will be treated like the unborn. I know I'm speaking to a lot of people here who, like myself, have felt and responded to the call to do full-time pro-life work. Maybe in a volunteer position, maybe in a paid position. But doing full-time pro-life work is a calling. It's a charism. It's a gift of God. It's a gift of the Holy Spirit that has been received by many of you in the circumstances in your life, like the circumstances in mine, have allowed us to say yes to that call. For me, it was back in the early 1990s when I was a priest of the Archdiocese of New York. I had been ordained by Cardinal John O'Connor. He was one of the key pro-life voices in the Catholic Church. For him, this was issue number one. And those flames were burning within my own mind and heart and conscience as well. I did several years of parish work that I really enjoyed. And then I went to the Cardinal and I said, I feel called in conscience to devote all my time, all my effort to defend the unborn. Now, he said yes in 1993, and I've been doing it ever since. And I will continue to do it until abortion ends. Now, not everyone is able to do such a thing. People may feel the desire to, but the obligations of their particular state in life don't allow them to. Well, then we do as much as we can. But my call today is this. If you feel that fire burning within you, like the disciples said on the road to Emmaus, were not our hearts burning within us as he spoke to us along the way? If you feel your heart burning within you now, that you want to rise to this occasion, realizing that this is the pro-life moment, that this, first of all, is the most urgent cause of our day because it's defense of the very same principles that our founding fathers defended. The very foundation of our nation is on this principle of the right to life, that this is worth fighting for, that this is worth the revolution, that this is worth the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. This is what people give their lives for, these kinds of principles. That's the kind of cause that the pro-life cause is. That's the kind of movement that the movement to defend the unborn is. You know, it's amazing to me. Some people think about this as, oh, it's a hobby. People have said that to me over the years. Oh, you know, you're following your hobby, you know, of fighting abortion. Are you kidding me? A hobby? Oh, well, you're doing your thing. You know, this is what you like to do. My thing. So were the founding fathers doing their thing? Were the founding fathers carrying out a hobby when they started this nation? When they wrote the Declaration of Independence? Was that some kind of side activity that they did because they felt like it? Or were they responding to fundamental principles of civilization, fundamental principles and imperatives of human dignity? Of course, that's what it was. They were responding, brothers and sisters, to fundamental principles and imperatives of human dignity and freedom, and creating a government structure that would preserve those principles, and that is called the United States of America, the greatest country on earth. And brothers and sisters, actually, are you able to see the flag in the, let me pull this over here. Got the president there and also the flag. This, it represents that imperative of soul and of conscience that led our founding fathers to pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Now, what I'm saying to you today is this. The fight for the right to life of the children in the womb is at the same level. Let me say that again, because I say it with no exaggeration, the fight to secure the right to life of the children in the womb is a fight that is at the same level of urgency, the same level of significance, the same level of importance as those founders undertook 243 years ago when they said we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, life first, and that governments, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Now I want to talk to two groups of people. First, those who might be hearing me but have blinders on. Those who might be hearing me and for one reason or another don't recognize the truth of what I'm saying. Either open your eyes or get out of the way. That's my message to those who are blind to the overarching imperative to stop abortion, to stop it now, and to defend the youngest of human lives. Because unless we're all protected, we're all in danger. Unless that right to life is secure for everyone, it is not secure for anyone. And the very principles that our founders fought for, the very principles that this flag stands for, are being ripped to shreds. So for those who have blinders on, for those who want to look at people who do what I do and say, oh, that's just a hobby, or oh, he's just doing his thing, or oh, maybe he shouldn't be doing it, because I've been told by various people along the way, sometimes by those in authority in the church, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. We don't need you doing this. My message is very straight and clear to those people, no matter who they are and no matter what position they hold. Either open your eyes or get out of the way. Because we're coming through, just like the founders did. They weren't waiting for permission from the king. Open your eyes or get out of the way. Then I want to speak to those of you whose eyes are open. And this is my encouragement to you today, on this eve of the 4th of July. Brothers and sisters, let's join hands. Because those of us who feel and understand the call to devote ourselves to defending the unborn, whether we are blessed to be able to do it as our life's work, as am I, and as are many of you, working in full-time positions in the pro-life movement, either on the local, state, or national, or even international level, or whether you're in a position where the fire is burning within you, but you can only give a certain percentage of your time to this cause. Well, as long as you are doing absolutely everything you can, as long as you are devoting absolutely every hour that you can to this cause, well, then we're all on the same page. And we're in the same boat. Let's join hands. We've got to have each other's back. We need each other's protection. We need each other's advocacy. When somebody looks down on us for devoting ourselves to the cause of the right to life, like our founders did, when somebody looks down on us and despises the work we do and doesn't see its value, we need to back each other up. We need to speak up for one another. We need to say, yes, that is valuable work. Yes, that person's doing the right thing for devoting themselves to this work. Yes, we're going to support each other. We're going to applaud each other. We're going to defend each other. I'm going to defend you. I need you to defend me from the naysayers and the blind ones who want to just keep putting obstacles up in our path to do the work that we need to do. Brothers and sisters, we're going to do it no matter what, right? We have to join hands and hearts and minds and resources with that attitude. With that attitude. Catholic Dan is saying something very beautiful here. Thank you for saying it. Spending just 1 hour in front of a Planned Parenthood really lit the fire in my life. I'm glad you mentioned that because, yes, my friends, there are specific things we do. Specific experiences we have at different times that light that fire. Look for those experiences, welcome those experiences, and let them resonate for the rest of your life. Sometimes it is that experience of praying in front of those abortion facilities. Same thing has happened to me. Praying in front of those places lights that fire. You know why? Because abortion comes down out of the abstract and takes flesh and blood right before your very eyes as you see that pregnant mom walking in there, as you see the grief and terror and sadness on her face. And then you want to see grief and sadness watch her when she walks out of that place, or rather limps out of that place. Oh yes, that'll light the fire. You know what else lights the fire for a lot of people? Seeing the pictures of what an abortion is. Look at abortion.org is a special website I've set up so that people can see what an aborted baby looks like, so that people can read the descriptions of the procedures that tear these babies limb from limb every day. Yes, let these experiences light the fire. And devote yourself full time to this mission if that is at all possible. I'm talking to clergy. I'm talking to laity, I'm talking to doctors and nurses, people in business, every profession. The pro-life movement needs your full-time involvement. You know, the pro-abortion movement is filled with full-time professionals, highly paid media experts and researchers and speakers and even clergy and certainly politicians. We need, similarly, full-time professionals in the pro-life effort. And we need them now. And we need people. You know why? Because the issue itself has so many facets and so many dimensions. We have the scientific aspects of it, the research that's being done. Look, for example, at the research that's been done into the harm that abortion does to women. I have bibliographies this thick, just bibliographies of all the studies that have been done. Well, you need researchers to do those studies, and I know many of them personally. They're doing great work. They have a particular calling, and that's, believe me, that's a full-time job right there. To do the research to conduct these research studies, peer-reviewed studies, and that's a lot of work. Psychiatrists are doing it, psychologists are doing it, sociologists, medical professionals. The work, for example, just in the one area of how abortion increases the risk of breast cancer, and it's an undeniable link. That just researching that, I have colleagues in the national pro-life leadership whose whole career and whose full-time work is just focused on that, as an entire coalition for the abortion breast cancer link. Imagine all the different facets of this issue. You've got the scientific, the medical, the research. Look at Dr. Byron Calhoun, for example, whom we've had on this program. He's one of our Priests for Life medical advisors. He recently spoke at a Vatican conference. And he has developed perinatal hospice, care for the unborn children who are dying from disease. You know, any one of these aspects is a full-time mission in and of itself. And then you've got the pregnancy centers. Look how many people are devoting themselves full-time simply to running one particular pregnancy center in one particular community. There are thousands of these centers across the country and around the world. And some people wonder why the pro-life effort would require a full-time commitment, even just to run a pregnancy center. And again, we've got thousands of them. Or to run a ministry of healing after abortion, such as Rachel's Vineyard, the founders of whom are full-time associates of Priests for Life. Rachel's Vineyard, the largest ministry in the world for healing after abortion, operates under our umbrella. And that in and of itself is a full-time work. Just the research that Dr. Teresa Burke has done into the psychological trauma that abortion causes, the work she has done to develop a model of healing that is now used in like 1,000 retreats every year. You see how that is a full-time work in and of itself. And then the educational work. We've got full-time professionals who are lecturing speaking, developing curricula, on the road traveling, talking to schools, talking to many groups. I just got back myself from talking to the Vox Vitae pro-life training camp out in California, and week after next our associate Brian Kemper will be involved in the survivors pro-life training camp that'll take place in Washington, D.C. with students coming in from around the country. The work with students, the work with schools, the work of educating, all of this, any of this, is worth a full-time commitment. And then, of course, you have the legislative arena. The bills that are being introduced to protect babies who can feel pain in the womb, the bills that are being introduced to protect babies from dismemberment abortion. Somebody's got to craft these laws. Somebody's got to have the legal expertise to know which kind of laws can best achieve their purpose in the present political and juridical climate, which kind of laws will stand up in court, and then when those laws are challenged by the other side, to defend those laws. Just that is a full-time mission. And then, of course, we have the political arena. If you want good laws, you have to elect good lawmakers. And politics is a full-time commitment in and of itself. To get pro-life politicians elected, we've got people all throughout this movement working full-time just for that. We could go on and on, not to mention the work that we do mobilizing the churches, developing resources for the priests on how to preach about abortion, helping the churches be more responsive to those in their own congregations who might be thinking about having an abortion and need the encouragement to say yes to life. My friends, I hope my point is clear. This effort to end abortion and to restore protection to the unborn children demands a full-time response. And again, so many of you give the amount of time that you can. And as long as you're giving all the time that you can, you're responding to this call. But there are those among you, I know, and I am in this category too, who are able to make the sacrifices to devote yourselves full-time to this cause. Maybe that's been stirring within you and you haven't yet taken the plunge. You haven't yet made the shift. You haven't yet done it. Do it. The time is now. 2 more points on this. First of all, this is the pro-life moment. If there were ever a moment in history to devote ourselves full-time to this cause, isn't it now? Look at what's going on with abortion. The fight over abortion has always been with us in this country, especially since the years just before Roe v. Wade and then, of course, after Roe v. Wade. But it's at a point now where it is boiling there's a tempest raging like never before. And we see what's going on in the states that on the one hand are passing radical late-term abortion laws and even allowing infanticide, and on the other, states like Alabama that are saying, no, it's time to protect all these children in the womb. And the split, the divide, the raging battle over the right to life is more intense than ever before. This is the pro-life moment. This is not at all the moment to be giving less attention to this cause. This is the moment to go all in and to give 100% attention to this cause. I urge you to do so. All of you who are professionals, now you may connect with pro-life groups in your local community. I urge you to do that. Or you can connect with us and we can help you to find where you might fit in this great cause. Who knows, some of you might even end up working with me and with Priests for Life. But there's many different organizations, there's many different needs, and we can help and guide you. Well, all I want to do here is fan the flames. I want to pour fuel on the fire because I know that fire is burning within a lot of you. And here's the final point. Defend the unborn, and you will be treated like them. They are considered to be non-persons. You'll be considered a non-person. They're invisible. Many people they only see the unborn in their blind spot. And you will become invisible. You will be pushed to the side. You will be told that you're not worth any attention. Doors will be slammed in your face. You'll be criticized for no reason whatsoever. People will make up things about you, call you names. They'll try to dehumanize you the same way they dehumanize the unborn. And they will try to tell you not to devote your time, your energy, your efforts to this great cause. Maybe you're in a position of doing pro-life work either full-time or a lot of the time. And they'll try to pull you away from that. What percentage of the babies that you are saving, thanks to your pro-life work, should not be saved? What percentage of the minds and hearts that are waking up to the right to life, what percentage of those should we leave in the dark, subject to the errors and falsehoods of the pro-abortion mentality? What percentage of the hearts that are healed by the work of healing in this great movement ought to be left in their pain? What percentage of the pro-life laws that are passed through your efforts and mine should not be passed? What percentage of the pro-life politicians that are going to help restore protection to the unborn and that are elected through your efforts and mine should not be elected? These are some of the challenges that I pose to those who would try to deter any of us from doing full-time pro-life work. Like I said before, to them we say together, either wake up or get out of the way. Brothers and sisters, don't let anybody ever try to tell you that this work isn't worth your every ounce of energy and effort. Again, drawing from the spirit of our founding fathers, we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor for that right which is as fundamental and important in our day as was everything the founding fathers were fighting for in their day. It's what America stands for. It's what the flag represents. It's what independence means. As we celebrate another Independence Day, let us commit ourselves to every extent that is possible in our lives to give everything for the unborn and for the restoration of their protection. And that's my prayer and that's my urging to you today. And I ask you not only to take it to heart, but to pass it along to others. And in that spirit, I wish you a happy Independence Day. And I thank you for partnering with me and with Priests for Life in this great cause. Now may the Lord send his blessing upon you, and may he send his blessing upon the United States of America and the world. May he embolden us to speak up for the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. May he strengthen us to sacrifice everything to achieve these sacred goals. And may he bless this nation and protect this nation and bless and protect all of us in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Friends, let us begin. The time is now. This is Father Frank Pavone of Priests for Life. Happy Independence Day. Talk to you soon.
But you know what? When you and I take up this call and we talk about abortion, if we speak about it in church, we're told we're too political. If we speak about it in the political arena, we're told we're too religious. If we speak about it in the world of the media, it's too disturbing. In the world of business, it's too distracting. In the world of education, it's too controversial. In the streets, it's too disruptive. So abortion, if abortion is wrong, where do we go to say so? We go into the churches, we go into politics, into the media, into business, into education, and into the streets. Some churches